in response to salvation. Masters, do the same to them and stop your threatening, knowing that he who is both their master and yours is in heaven, and that there is no partiality with him. Ephesians chapter 6, verse 9, the English Standard Version. What the Apostle Paul alludes to from Ephesians chapter 6, verses 5 through to 9 is the principles outlined in the Great Commandment, recorded in Matthew chapter 22, verses 35 through to 40, which declares, "And one of them, a lawyer, asked him a question to test him. 'Teacher, which is the great commandment in the law?' And he said to them, 'You shall love the Lord your God with all your heart, and with all your soul, and with all your mind. This is the great and first commandment. And a second is like it. You shall love your neighbor as yourself. On these two commandments depend all the law and the prophets." Two other Gospels, Mark chapter 12, verses 28 through to 34, and Luke chapter 10, verse 27, recorded Jesus talking about the Great Commandment. There are slight variations in each of the accounts, but the main details are the same. The Apostle Paul is suggesting powerfully that the Great Commandment should be a fundamental mark for every follower of Jesus the Christ. As believers love God with their whole being, they must love their neighbors. They cannot do one without the other. So both servants and managers, or workers and masters, are spiritually obligated to do the will of God for the good of others from a pure and willing heart, according to Ephesians chapter 6, verse 6. The Apostle Paul intends that believers should not lose sight of their motivation to live out the Great Commandment. They do not love practically for others to see or to earn salvation, but in response to salvation. Believers who find themselves in the workplace should love because they were first loved. It is true that the masters or managers may be in charge, but they too are required to handle the servants or workers according to God's way. While love disciplines others for wrongdoing, the Apostle Paul is offering that love should not threaten. Threatening is a form of manipulation to get a particular result. Masters or managers should use motivation rather than manipulation. Masters or managers should love the productivity and integrity they want to see out of the servants or workers. Thus, masters or managers have to be careful how they treat those over whom they have power. God expects that both masters or managers and servants or workers should adhere to the golden rule precepts recorded in Matthew chapter 7, verse 12. In everything, do to others what you would have them do to you. Lord, help us to remember that as we follow Jesus the Christ, we should submit every aspect of our lives to you so that we can experience all that you have for us. Amen. You have been listening to Morning Manna with Reverend Bonnie EBW Smith, Superintendent of the Moravian Church Antigua Conference and Minister of Christian Education. Have a fantastic Friday. God bless you.